is heart-and-vascular, Norma's interview, take one.
You know, we found happiness, and we were both age 80, so, I mean, it was really surprising and something very pleasant.
Both of our spouses had passed away several years ago. Since I'm a retired Marine and her husband was a Marine in WW2, we struck it off there. That was in October of 2013.
We were married. We were having a wonderful time. One day, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't function. It was horrible, and it just kept getting worse.
It got so bad toward the end, for all intents and purposes, I didn't think she was going to be able to make it through.
I was into my local hospital 9 times. I had all sorts of tests, and it wasn't this, it wasn't that. So finally, one of the doctors said, we must be missing something. And so this is when they sent me over to Penn Medicine.
Norma came to me after having had several months of difficulty getting around her house. She had been a very vibrant elderly woman, having a very active life, until she ruptured a cord in her mitral valve. And that resulted in a leaky mitral valve, a condition that's called mitral-regurgitation. And that's normally treated with open heart surgery. Because of her age, she would be at very high risk for traditional open heart surgery or surgical repair, which is the usual treatment of this condition. She might be a candidate for this relatively new catheter-based therapy called MitraClip. Because there's no cutting and no stoppage of the heart, no need for the heart-lung bypass machine, the recovery is much quicker. And in Norma's case, it worked exceedingly well. And she was up and walking around that evening and ready to go home the following day.
When Dr. Herman did this, it was just like a miracle. I could breathe. I could breathe. I could walk. I could function.
So Norma has been a very special patient. She was recently in for her 6-month follow-up visit, and I found out that she had had a second wedding because she felt so well that she hadn't been able to dance at her first wedding at the level that she wanted to, and so she had essentially a second wedding just so that she could dance and party.
We were first married in my church, and Tom always wanted to be married in his church. So I said, oh, you want to be married in your church? Let's do it. So we did. We were married for a second time, and we had a big reception with all of my friends, and it was great, and I have been great ever since. I mean, I was at least 80% normal. Today, I'll tell you, I'm 90% back to normal.
I'll vouch that she walks a quarter of a mile twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. Sometimes she outwalks me. I
wasn't sure we could turn the clock back to her feelings when she was age 80, but my hope was that we would get her back to where she was 6 months earlier, before she had ruptured that cord.
My thank you goes to Dr. Herman and Penn Medicine, because I know without them and without their expertise, I would not be here.